Hello, this is Lucas Palmeira from Imaginando, and today I've got something special for you today. Since yesterday was the release of our newest plugin, GRFX, which is a plugin based on a Granular engine. And to talk about it here, I have Guilherme, which is a developer for Imaginando, and he was the main developer for this plugin in particular. So, hello, Guilherme.
Hello, Lucas. Thank you very much for having me, and thank you for that introduction.
And it's a pleasure. So we're going to start by showing you the interface and going through all the features that it has. And then we're going to do some things with it. So here we have the graphic user interface of GRFX. And I think I'm going to start by asking you to tell us what each part of the plugin is and what they do.
Sure. So the meat of it is this middle strip right here. This is the Granulator engine. Above it, we have a couple of modulators, which you can use to modulate pretty much any parameter in sight. And the bottom strip consists of a couple of effects, 2 sends, and a mixer panel for controlling the signal of each output.
Okay.
So the main part of it is the granulator. And what a granulator really is it's a method of synthesis where you take a pre-existing signal or an incoming audio piece, and you cut it in little sound bites, which are denominated grains. So the whole point of it is to put together many different grains from the incoming audio. And by cutting it into little pieces, you're essentially capturing or extracting the tonal properties or the timbre. And by putting them together and rearranging them in different ways, you can create something with a different overall morphology or amplitude envelope from your audio while maintaining its timbre. So you can also use it for percussions, for instance, by playing specific grains at specific points in time, periodically. Yes, yeah. Which GRFX can do.
Nice.
So let's start by playing something.
Yeah, I think we had a bassoon there.
Yes, let's start playing it.
So this is our dry bassoon sample.
That's right. Let's push the wet signal up on GRFX.
Already a nice soundscape.
Yes, it's doing quite a lot already. Let's start by simplifying.
Yeah, one grain.
Yeah. I'll turn down the effects first. And let's turn it down to 1 grain. So what you're listening to is one piece of audio that plays every once in a while. Let's start by going over the right side of it. So these are parameters that control the micro properties of the grain, let's call it that.
Okay.
So you have a control for the amplitude envelope that's applied to the grain. So what this means is that you can control how much fade in and fade out there is in the grain, making it more abrupt, which is good for percussions or for plucky sounds, or making it very smooth, which is good for creating very homogeneous clouds of sound.
And pads and things like that,
Let's listen to what it sounds like. So it's pretty abrupt.
Yeah.
It starts and ends immediately. If I push it up, you can hear it coming in and going away very slowly. So this extra parameter here, the shape.
I think we should just raise the volume a little bit of the channel.
Okay. That good enough, audience?
Yes, good.
So this shape parameter tilts the envelope left or right. And this is useful for controlling in more detail the grain itself. So if I push it left,
starts getting plucky.
Yes, it sounds more like a pluck sound because the gain is exponentially decreasing, right? It's also a good way to make it shorter. And this sounds nice when you have many grains and you want to reduce the density of your cloud. If I go to the right side, It's more of an atypical sound because it doesn't really sound like anything you would encounter from a physical instrument or a typical physical instrument.
It's a ramp.
Yeah, it's an upwards ramp, but it's also nice for some more artificial effects.
Basically, you can always do swells with it, which is very common.
So these other two parameters are the stereo and the grain size. The stereo essentially controls how wide the stereo image is. So if you push it up, the grain will be placed anywhere randomly in the stereo image. So it can pan totally to the left or to the right or anywhere near the center.
So it's basically a probability between where the grain will be placed on the stereo image. It can play all full left, all full right, or somewhere in between, right?
Yes, you're essentially allowing it to be placed anywhere in the panoramic. If I push it down, it will always be mono. The grain size controls how long the grain plays for. So I'll reduce it and you will hear the effect. It becomes more and more bite-sized.
Yeah.
It can go pretty small.
Yeah, this is...
And this toggle right here swaps between a synchronized mode, where it synchronizes to the tempo of your project.
So we have time divisions to choose from.
Yes, you can play your grain for 1 beat or 1 bar if you'd like. Or you can select the specific measure in milliseconds.
Okay.
These two parameters... this one is special.
Yeah,
I'll save it
leave that for
last.
Yeah.
Okay, this one is the reverse probability. So this is the probability that your grain will read the audio in reverse.
Okay.
So your audio is being essentially saved in a temporary buffer, which you can see right here.
Okay.
And the grains, you can see the playheads of the grains keeping along with the right
I can see if they're going forward or backwards, right?
Yes. So if I push the probability all the way to 100, it will always play backwards.
Yeah. Okay, I think now we should go probably to the left side before going to the AB.
To this sinister parameter. Okay, so on the left side, you have more general controls for how many grains you can play, how fast they play. Let's start with these two. The frequency essentially controls how fast the grains will play. So this...
you mean more how fast the grains are shot, right?
Yes, you got it. So the frequency essentially determines the length of a cycle, and every cycle, all of your grains will play.
Okay.
So if I lower the frequency, the grain will play quicker.
Yeah, and there aren't more grains playing, but they're shooting faster.
Yes, we will add more grains so you can hear what it sounds like, and you can also synchronize this or not.
Okay.
And this random parameter essentially controls how random the timing of the grain will be. So right now you can hear that it's pretty periodic. I'll make it shorter so it's easier.
Okay.
If I make it random.
Okay, it shoots at different speeds, right?
It's like a humanize.
Yeah. But since it's synced, it will only shoot on time divisions, right?
The grain does shoot on a time division, but the random does add a randomness to that set shot time.
Okay.
So the other parameter is the offset, and this one is essentially like a pre-delay, where it controls how far from the right head the grain will start reading.
Okay.
And the sonic effect of this is that you'll hear grains from older material, stuff that already came into the buffer.
It's basically a delay, right?
Yes. So
to the main signal.
If you look at the buffer here, you can see that if I increase the offset, the short grain will be playing farther from this thicker line, which is where the buffer is writing, all the way until it wraps around.
Although you have some random there, right?
Oh, that's right. Thank you for pointing it out. So if I have it at minimum, it will always play as close as possible to what was just written to the buffer, what just came in from your dry audio. And this parameter is the number of grains. I'll increase it slowly so you can hear the effect that it has. So now we have 2 grains playing per cycle.
Okay.
And the second grain filled in the slot. That's
where the other one, when the other ends, it starts a new one.
Yes, so it will try to distribute all of the grains equally.
Evenly. Okay.
Or evenly, yes. So with 3 you get triplets. With 4 you get one every quarter, or every quarter of a quarter note.
So there is so the number of grains also influences the firing of the grains, because if you have more grains, they have to fire faster to fill in the buffer, to fill in the frequency, right?
Technically, each grain is not firing any faster. You just have more of them per cycle. So it sounds like, if you're thinking of it like a rhythm, you do have a faster rhythm.
Okay, because you have more beats in it.
Yes,
right?
you have more grains firing.
Yes. Okay.
So, do you think we should explain the AB?
I think we should leave AB for last and now go for a little bit more grains and then go to the harmonic triangle.
Okay. So if I put in a lot of grains, you lose the sense of rhythm and it becomes more like a cloud. Let's add some randomness to the offset so it's reading different material, not just close to the right.
Okay.
And if you control the frequency and the grain size together, you can kind of shape your cloud. So you can make it very slow and very soft by making the grains very big, giving them a very soft envelope.
Yes.
It becomes kind of like almost like a string ensemble where everyone's off tempo. And you can go up to 50 grains. We found that was a good measure to make stuff homogeneous, while also keeping the interest of granular synthesis, where you can pick up the individual pieces still, and it's not just a mass of sound. So, next up, let's talk about the
harmonic triangle.
Yes, the harmonic triangle. So this is dead center in the plugin, and essentially what this does is it allows you to transpose your grains, which is what's causing this shimmering effect that you're hearing.
Okay.
If you hear the dry signal, it doesn't have
yeah, the note is always the same, and we're listening to basically 3 different pitches, right?
Yes. So the triangle has 3 vertices, obviously, and each one has a designated transposition.
Okay.
And you have this node here, which is interactive, and you can place it anywhere on the triangle, or in the triangle rather. And the position determines how likely each grain is to adopt a transposition. So if I make it very close to this, the bottom vertex, which has no transposition, the grains will play at their natural
note.
Yes, exactly.
So it's a probability of the grains being transposed or not, right? You're not transposing them in real time.
No, the grains adopt pitch when they fire.
Okay.
If you do change the pitch, they do change.
Oh, so if you change on the wheel of the vertices, they do transpose, right? Okay. Okay.
So if I place it in the middle, it will play more or less an equal amount of an equal number of grains transposed 7 semitones, which is a perfect fifth, 1 octave, and no transposition.
And what about the sequence of the three notes?
So there is an option here, which is set to random right now, which makes it the pitch of each grain deterministic. So this is easier to notice with fewer grains.
What is that sequence? What are priorities in relation to the 3 points?
If you set this to fixed right here,
yeah,
it will distribute the grains across the 3 transpositions. It will attempt to distribute it equally, but if we have, for instance, 4 grains, it can't distribute them equally. One of them will adopt a pitch that another one already has.
Okay.
So it will. Let's see what it sounds like. It sounds like
an arpeggio.
Yes,
a fifth arpeggio.
Yeah, so it's always the same pattern. So you can make arpeggios this way, and if you add more grains,
okay, nice.
Right, and you can, of course, you can use the node to change the pattern. Every time you reposition the node, it will recalculate the pitch of the grains.
Okay.
So you get a new sequence.
That's nice. And you can have it fixed like we have it now, which is a sequence that it's always looping on itself, the sequence of the 3 notes, or you can have it random, right?
Yes, if it's random, it will each grain on firing will decide which transposition to adopt based on the probability. The likelihood is higher the closer it is to the vertex.
And it seems like we have some chord names on top of the triangle.
Yes, so these are all preset triads that you can use to quickly make chords. So you have many major ones.
Okay.
Minor.
Nice. So you can just choose there the chord that you want the grains to generate.
Yes.
And you also have a way of going out of pitch and doing my microtonality and things like that.
Yes, so it's this option right here.
Okay.
Right now it's set to semitones. If I press it, it's free. And right now I can adjust each pitch in a decimal point manner.
Okay.
And this can be nice for making chorus effects.
Yes, just detuning a little bit from the main note, right?
With plenty of grains.
And a little bit of dry.
It's a little scary right now.
Yeah. You get kind of an ensemble effect.
Mm-hmm. And you turn up the stereo for a very wide image.
Nice, sounds nice. So let's now go to the AB and effects.
So this was left for last because this affects where the signal goes after it's granulated. So this knob is essentially a probability.
Okay.
You have the route A and the route B, and this controls how likely a grain it is to go to each route. You have a couple of visual cues in the plugin telling you how each route works. So route A goes straight to this multi-effect chain.
Which are 2 effects in series, right?
Yes, and you can swap them for plenty of effect engines.
Okay.
Let's stick to the chorus. So I have 2 chorus here, and let's keep the grain in its original pitch.
Okay.
And you can hear that the grains are all going through this effect chain because my route is at 100/0,
okay.
so they're all going to route A. Now they're all going to route B,
which
which is it goes straight to the mixer and to the specific send inputs, but we'll get there later.
Okay.
So you can make a mix of both routes and create some slightly more complex textures by mixing processed grains with unprocessed grains.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's say I insert a phaser here.
You can hear the phaser?
And let's make the probability of the grains being processed quite low.
Yeah, so I only hear the phaser once in a while.
Yeah.
So
There it
just
is.
to make it sure, again, like on the notes, this is a probability of a grain going through one route or another. This isn't an audio mixer, right?
No, this is not a mixer. This works as a probability. So each grain, when it begins playing, will decide, do I go through route A or route B?
Okay. So next we have two sends, right?
Right. So next to the effects in a series, you have two sends. And these sends are also a little special because they have individual input controls from route A and route B.
Okay.
So let's get our phaser back, the high feedback, so we can hear it clearly. Now let's get the reverb here, and set the input from A to
which
high.
is the one that has phaser and chorus.
Yes.
Okay, I heard it there.
Yeah, I was messing with the
Free delay.
with the pre-delay, but now
Yeah.
you can hear every once in a while a grain comes in with the phaser and the reverb.
Okay, I heard it there. Nice.
And we can do the same for the other send, which is a delay.
Okay.
Let's turn up the B input, so most of the grains will come through here.
Okay, we're already having delay. Okay, so there are two independent sends, like on a mixer, right? Mm-hmm. With two auxiliary outs. They're basically, so those zenes are basically you sending it to a unit outside an FX machine, and then you have a return track to control the volume, right? Which is on the mixer.
Yes, the mixer is exactly for that. You can control the volume of each signal that gets summed to the output.
Okay.
So you can control the volume of each return. So if I don't want to hear the delay that I just added, or I just want to attenuate it.
Okay. You turn the return of the A, which is delay, down. And
Yes.
the second one is the reverb, right?
Yes.
Okay, nice.
You have the equivalent controls for the A and B routes.
Okay. The dry ones, right?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
in case of the A, it's not the dry because it goes through the chain of those two serial effects.
Yes, you don't hear the processed A route anymore. You do hear the output of the sends though.
Okay.
Yeah, you can still hear the delay and the reverb.
Okay.
You have a volume control for the global output volume.
That's basically to match the volume of the effect and the dry.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. It doesn't affect the dry signal at all.
Okay.
So if I have a decent balance, but I just want to increase the volume of the wet signal, I can do it.
Okay. And one more thing, you can change the configuration of the sends, right?
Yes, so there is a link button right here, which lets you set the sends to work in series rather than individually. So now the signal is coming into the delay, it's being processed by the delay and it's going into the reverb.
Okay, so we lost one return because right now we just have one input and one return, right?
Yes, it works.
No, we have two inputs the same, but we only have one return, which is it goes to the delay, then to the reverb, and then back again, right?
Yes, you have the inputs going into the delay, and they work as one unit essentially now. You control how much comes in and how much comes out. and it's a delay being processed by the reverb in series.
Okay, nice. So I would what I would do now is like just show a little bit of, just make some sound, some texture with this bassoon, very simply.
Okay, so let's start with the overall sonic cloud. Let's see how many grains we need to make something very thick. And I'll also set the harmonic triangle to something that gets me something that can be very tonally complex. So I can transpose it down, and if I set it to 1 octave lower, you get a very low sound. And if I set the other vertex to an octave above,
okay.
So it's already spanning multiple octaves right now.
And there is already a lot of layering that wasn't there before.
So I'd like to try with smaller grains.
Okay.
And let's try to make them a little plucky. Let's see what that sounds like. So I'll make the envelope very abrupt. They sound like small plucks.
Can you even put it even more? Starts sounding like little crystals falling.
I'll turn down the return a little bit so we can hear the dry signal.
Okay.
I'd like to try something probabilistic, so I think I'll turn down the signal of the B route and just have the A route, and I'll turn down the phaser a little bit. So right now we have a couple of grains going into the A route and a couple of them going to the B route, which is all the way down, so we don't really hear it. This is essentially a probability of playing a grain or not. The offset right here, I would like it to play from all over the buffer. So we got a lot of variety. It's picking up pieces from different notes of the melody. And the effects here, let's try something a little bit spicier.
Okay.
So we have
distortion,
harsh distortion right off the bat. I'll turn the dry wet down a little.
Already gives it a lot of character and changes completely the original sound.
We have a chorus here as well. Let's try a filter. You can make some nice sweeps by using a filter in your multi-effects chain. And you have plenty of modes. You have a peak mode as well, for making just a little peak, just to pick up a few resonant harmonics.
It's quite peaky.
I think I'll just soften it a little bit with a low pass.
Low pass, high pass, peak, and notch.
And you have a band pass
and a band
as
pass.
Well.
Okay.
Band pass, high pass.
Basically, a band pass is a peak is basically a sharper band pass, right?
More or less, it includes a band pass in its architecture, but you're not attenuating the rest of the signal. You're just amplifying.
Okay, you just amplify the little bit. Okay.
Okay, so I have a nice plucky sound. Let's play a little bit with the harmonic triangle. So if I push it down here,
you're just getting the low octave, right?
Yes, it's kind of like a scary choir. some very occasional
Yes.
higher pitched ones.
Sounds nice.
Yes, I would like to make some use of the reverb here. Let's see what it sounds like mixed with a dry signal. So this essentially served as like a background layer to add a little bit of nuance to the sound, but it's also a nice way to produce new sounds completely from your input. I quite like the wet signal alone on this one,
Yes.
because it's more of an ambient thing.
Yeah, but it's started as a single sound, and now you have a soundscape.
Yes, with plugs and different transpositions.
Nice. So I think the next thing I was going to ask you to show us is how to modulate, and you can also intermodulate, right?
Yes, that's right. So the section we haven't talked about yet is the modulator section. So
Okay.
you have 4 modulators, 2 of them are visible. And to modulate, you simply grab the waveform
Nice.
and you drag it onto a modulatable parameter, which will
Okay.
have this background overlay. And the moment you do that, you're in quick modulation mode. So here I can instantly control the amount of modulation on the parameter.
Okay, so when I have both squares white, it means that I'm not controlling parameter, but the amount of modulation.
Yes, I'm not controlling the shape itself. I'm
Okay.
controlling how much modulation is coming from this LFO to the shape. And you can
Okay.
see the parameters already being modulated. The shape here
Yeah,
is changing.
yeah, and you can see a little bit white line around the parameter, which is the modulation happening, right?
Yes, that's right. If I want to quit this, I can just click it.
Okay.
If I want to go back to seeing this LFO's modulations, I can click it again.
Okay. And if you have more than one, and when you press it, they will all show, right?
No, so when you press this one, you can only really edit this one's modulations, because you can actually have more than one modulating the same parameter.
What I mean is, if I press that module, for example, module 1, and I
Yes.
have more than one being modulated by one, I will see them in white as well, right?
So if I
that's what I mean.
if I add another parameter, you'll see both of them.
Okay.
And this one.
Now for some, if we have 2, that means we're intermodulating both, right?
Yes, you can have multiple modulations per parameter. You can also modulate the modulators themselves.
Okay.
So I can use a modulator to modulate its own rate and make some different shapes.
Nice.
So it's more of a little mount rather than
so you
a
see,
triangle.
and you see on the oscillator the waveform it's generating, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The oscilloscope, sorry.
Okay, so this is changing the shape in real time,
Okay.
and you can hear that the plugs get shorter.
Okay.
And momentarily.
Yeah,
Get
nice.
longer.
Nice. You can get some real nice movements there.
Mm-hmm.
And is there a way for me to see all the modulations and edit?
Yes. So each waveform display has a little icon here which shows the global modulation panel. So you can remove modulations here, and you can control every modulation at once for more of a global overview.
And we have 4 modulators, right?
Yes. So 1 and 3 are visible, 2 and 4.
Okay.
You have a couple of different shapes. You have the classic ones, like the sine wave, the square, the triangle.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a sample and hold shape.
Okay.
And you have the filtered sample and hold, which you might have seen from our other products.
Very useful. So I think we went through basically everything now.
I think so.
And I would ask you now for us to go to a beat and see how we manage and what we can do with a beat and with GRFX.
Okay, let's do it. So let's open GRFX. Here it is, default.
Okay.
This is what our beat sounds like.
First, we have to check the buffer, right?
Yes, so the buffer here is very important.
Okay.
So if I set this to wet, you'll hear one grain.
Yeah.
And if you're working with material that's tempo sensitive, such as a rhythm, it's highly recommended that you work with a synchronized buffer. So this icon right here lets you set the buffer size to a tempo specific measure. So I can set it to 1 bar. And the reason this is important is because this division control here allows you to slice the buffer into pieces that the grains will start playing from. So if you have a beat, it will start playing from each transient.
Yeah, and tempo time, right?
Yes. So
it's a subdivision of the tempo. You can play it like 1/4, 1/8, 1/16.
Right. So I'll set this, and now if I...
So just to be sure, we have 1 bar size with 8 divisions. So it means that the grains will play on 1/8 on positions of 1/8 within the buffer, right?
Yes. It depends on the buffer size, of course. So if I push up the random offset here, rather than picking random positions in the buffer to read from, it will pick from the divisions.
Okay, it will always start on those divisions that are tempo sensitive.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think I'll make the buffer a little smaller.
So we're now at 1/16 now. Okay, back to 1/8. Right?
Yes. Right. So if I add more grains.
Okay.
So it's picking out different.
Different parts from the beat.
Yeah, different percussions from the beat.
So right now it's kind of a shuffler.
Yes. So if I mix it with the dry signal. Let's make it a little longer.
Okay. Probably sound nice with some reverse, right?
Yes, let's try that.
Nice.
And you can control the envelope as well for something a bit snappier. Now, if we bring in the harmonic triangle,
okay, it will start playing with different pitches.
And you can hear that each beat will play at one of these pitches.
And one good thing that you at least know is that if you go down 1 octave, it plays at half the speed, and if you go above 1 octave, it will play at twice the speed, so it will maintain tempo integrity, right?
Yes. So let's add more grains for some chaos.
Nice.
And let's
give it a little bit of effect.
Yes, so let's use the effect chain for some occasional processing.
Okay.
Let's try a light delay.
I think the reverb is on bypass, right? Yeah, that's the bypass button.
Thank you. Right, so now everything going through the effect chain is also going to the reverb.
And we're hearing the grains of B dry, right?
Yes.
and mixed with the processed signals of the A.
Yes, so you can control how much of the A you get to hear with this. So now they're all processed.
Okay.
Now they're all dry.
Okay, makes sense.
So you can make some nice shuffles with the buffer settings, and by controlling your number of grains, you can make something softer.
It's sounding really good, and we have no modulation at all, so the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, I'm not using modulators right now. I haven't felt the need to yet.
Yeah.
We can try to modulate. Let's try to modulate the route parameters. So I would like to hear a lot of processed grains in one moment, and I wanted to shift to the unprocessed grains. So let's make this processing a bit more extreme. So it's periodically
dry, periodically very much processed.
And you can synchronize the LFOs as well.
Okay.
So they are tempo sensitive.
Nice. Okay, nice. I think, and we already have a nice patch going on here. So I think I would suggest that we go through some presets.
Okay. Would you like to go through some drum presets?
Yeah, I think with stuff, since we're here.
Yeah, we're at the drums.
Yeah.
So we have these drum me presets that you made.
Okay.
Wow. It's very, very aggressive.
Yeah.
And if we play with this here. Very cool. Let's look at the variants. This one's all higher pitched. Yeah. Very cool. Drum me low.
All pitched down.
Makes everything sound like a floor tom.
Yeah. Very 80s.
You're missing the reverb on full gain. Wow, this one's very industrial. This one's quite clanky.
Yeah, so this already gives me ideas for doing breaks on songs, or just basically giving some more texture and break beats within the rhythm, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when used lightly, it can be a nice way to add a few, those types of details that get you listening to a song more than once. Those little things that you notice when you're paying attention. I'm sure you would know. You were a drum and bass DJ, right?
True, for loads of years. I still do DJ drum and bass sometimes.
I like the occasional reverse ones.
Almost sounds like scratching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this one is my favorite of the drum ones.
Okay, so let's go for some sounds now.
Very well.
So we have here, let's go to DRC. We have here a normal, simple patch. Can you drop the pre-gain just a little bit?
Yes.
Okay.
You're just showing off now.
Let's go for some granular sweetness.
That's right. Let's steal the GRFX from another track. So this is the patch that we made for the bassoon. Let's revert to default. So default is already sounds pretty big on a lot of synth sounds. We can tweak it a little bit by abusing the effects and the sends for some interesting sonic spaces with the reverb and the delay combined. So let's swap this distortion for a filter. Let's send most of the grains to the A route. Let's turn down the delay.
Sounds like there is a pad going on behind, right?
Yeah, sounds like there's multiple things. The pad and the occasional the sawtooth coming in dry through the B path.
Yeah, I think. One thing is for sure, we started with can you go dry? The most simple sawtooth patch possible, and we already have a very moving and creative soundscape that has loads of life in it. Right?
Yes, and we can add a lot of life to the effects by using the modulation.
Yeah.
So let's make a slow sweep with the filter. I'm using the upwards ramp to make it very
swelly.
Yeah, like it's reversed. If I make it, if I make the grains smaller, they become a little bubbly. Let's try modulating the size of the grains. So it gradually changes between the bubbly and the
more paddy sound. It's funny how talking about granular synthesis, you always tend to go to descriptions of like a flow of water.
Yeah, because I think granular synthesis is very good at, and it's very known for turning a sound into a homogeneous sonic mass, right? Because it's cutting the little pieces out and essentially rebuilding the sound, but with many different layers and some random aspects in it, which make it very diffuse.
Yeah, so you go from sort of like a mass or a flow and to little droplets when you just have a couple of grains, right?
Yeah, it's the occasional happenings that make the granular interesting.
Yeah, happy accidents.
Yes. Let's try dropping the pitch here. And let's try modulating the harmonic triangle. I don't think we've done that yet. So I'll modulate the Y position.
Okay. So we got the ball moving, changing the probability of those notes coming in or not.
Yes, so it's changing between a very thick sound that's being transposed both down and up an octave and the natural pitch.
Okay.
Here come the transpositions. I'll make this envelope a bit softer, so it's more fit for a pad.
Sounds nice. Let's go through some more patches.
Okay, let's go through all of them very quickly.
Okay. Fifth stream, now fifth Sweet Chaos.
This one has a lot of modulations on the shape,
Yeah.
so you get a lot of different grains. Some very soft ones and some plucks.
Nice.
These are all transpositions around the perfect fifth,
perfect
right?
fifth,
It's very nice sounding, obviously, because it's so
harmonic.
Yes.
Kind of the relation that it's hard not to get right.
This is the alarm. This one's a little bit more of a weird effect.
Experimental.
Yes, there are a few of those in the factory bank.
Good, good.
This one's very big.
Yeah. It's almost like a shimmer reverb in a way.
Nice.
Filtered.
Yes. And there's a sample and hold. Yeah, right here.
Nice.
This is the simple arpeggiator.
Sounds almost like a gator, right?
Yeah, if you control the number of grains and the frequency, and you keep it all synced, you can make many different arpeggiators.
Nice. Nice carousel.
This is another shimmer-like one.
Yeah. Very shimmery.
This one adds a scary layer behind the sound.
Increase the wet a little bit more.
Yeah, let's hear the effect.
Yeah, it's creepy, alright. Wow.
I don't remember this one actually. But I like this kind of patch, the filtered
One note
ones.
and you have a major chord, right? It's a major chord.
Yeah, and it has movement because it's being very modulated. The pitch, the harmonic triangle.
It's beautiful.
Very cool. Whoa. Oh, this one has different rhythms on the modulations. Oh, this is a low version.
This is another one for these are the phase for drums.
That's
so
right.
I think you can skip those.
We've been through the drum ones.
Yeah. Drunken Memories. It also has a little bit of creepiness creeping in. Okay, so this is like an ensemble.
This one is like a chorus with many voices.
A little bit of detuning between them, so it gets richer. Nice.
This is the pad maker, right?
Put it all wet.
Yeah, it's a very high layer to it.
And sweet. Very nice. Another glitchy one.
This one is like a malfunctioning arpeggiator. Very cool.
Malfunction. An even more glitchy one. Can you increase the volume, please? You can see some intermodulation going on, right?
Yes. So this LFO shape was probably made by is probably made by this modulation right here,
which is the LFO modulating itself, right?
I'm not sure which LFO is modulating this one.
Okay. But something is.
Yeah, something is.
Many Me's?
Was this one inspired by Mini-Me?
I think so. It's kind of, again, kind of a chorus ensemble patch, in a way. With a little bit more depth on the tuning, right?
Mm-hmm. I like that last reverse grain.
I think those movements is probably a delay or a parameter on the reverb going.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Changing the octave matrix.
The triangle is very nice for these ones because you can use it to pretty much fade in the effect.
Nice.
This one's erratic.
Yeah, and more plucky. Not too much, but enough.
Yeah, I think that frequency random is what's adding the lopsided distribution of the grains.
Makes it irregular, right?
Mm-hmm. This is a moving shimmer, pretty much.
Weird one. We're choosing not to using a basic sawtooth, basically because it has all the harmonics, right? And we have the full spectrum to work on. And at the same time, we're not changing we had the bassoon and the drums on the beginning, but figured out that by just showing a sawtooth, the simplest sound, you can focus more on what the effect is doing, rather than thinking of what the patch is or not.
Yeah, we don't really want the original sound to be carrying the preview.
It's nice that I was trying to go to the notes to resolve the harmony, but then I realized that the harmony was being made by the Granular Effects and not
being
my...
fooled.
Yeah. But you can always do that. So, sorry. What I was trying to do is doing this, and then I could just...
Mm-hmm.
So you can basically use the triangle, the harmonic triangle, to create harmonies and even automate it on your song, so you can make movements of harmonies within the song, right?
Yes. Of course, the most popular use of these types of effects is to transpose an octave or a perfect fifth, because it's so...
It will probably sound right.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Bed of 6.
I like the mild saturation on this one. Also the synced offset here, working like a kind of like a pre-delay.
Yeah.
It's always going to be at least that that much behind the writing point.
Nice. Nice soundscape. Very nice soundscape.
You can make it even slower.
Okay.
I like this one.
It's almost like a riff.
Yeah. I like the rhythmic echoes. And again, the offset.
Another one that should sound nice probably on drums as well. Since it's so rhythm.
It sounds cool on
Rhythmic.
synth as well, though.
Yeah.
It's like a backing bass line.
Okay.
Another filtered one. This one has a very plucky filter sound, thanks to the filter, to the phaser.
And some cats inside
Yeah, and
as
the
well.
filter modulation. And the cats that we added to the code.
Yeah. Yeah, we can hear them. They're quite happy inside there.
This one's like a rhythmic scratch. A very high shimmer.
And sweet as well. Very nice. ET call home.
Signals from deep space.
I like it. And then it has some nice distortion in it.
Yes, yes.
It's a beat crusher actually, right? But it's matching well with the filter.
Yes.
Wow.
This is like a filtered triplet.
Nice. Nice movement. very ravey.
This is another one with different rhythmic modulations on the pitch. Oh, this one's very slow. I remember this one.
They don't have to be crowded, all of them. I like this. The ones that you don't really know sometimes what's going to come out of it. It's good for soundscapes. Oof. Nice. Nice modulation. Okay, it's kind of the same pattern with another note.
Mm-hmm. And another
note.
Another interval.
Now it's a seventh.
Cool polyrhythmic pattern.
Yeah. Nice. Nice plucky things.
Mm-hmm.
Almost sounds like a guitar.
A guitar? What kind of guitars do you have?
Yeah, with loads of reverb.
It sounds like a guitar with GRFX on it.
Yeah. GRFX sounds really good on guitars as well. As you probably should be guessing by now.
Yeah, you can do plenty with a basic sawtooth, so...
Yeah.
This one's very cool. I like the ones that pitch down.
It's very cinematic.
Nice glitchy arpeggio. This one's vocal enhancer. So it's probably the best on vocals, but it adds kind of a high-pass layer.
Yeah, and it seems like it's gonna boost kind of mid frequencies that are associated with voice.
Also thickens up the stereo image a bit.
Oof. Warm.
Yeah, very low.
Can you put just wet?
Here's the drone.
It's very sweet.
Or a
low.
very far off cathedral.
Yeah. When you put again all wet.
This one's also kind of like a chorus.
On a tape machine with wow, right? I think this was last one, right? No, we still
There's
have one
another
more. Another sci-fi satellite code, Pat.
Yeah. Geostationary satellites talking to you.
Yeah. Or to each other. And we gave the full round of presets. And I think we're gonna leave it there. This was fun.
Yes, it was. Thank you very much. And I hope we hope that it's as fun to use as it was to make.
Yeah, this was really fun to make, and it was fun being here and going through the plugin with you. And I really hope that this was useful for you guys. The idea of doing this was to give an all-round explanation of the plugin, because on the beginning it might seem a little bit esoteric, but as soon as you start tweaking with it, it's you can see that it's a plugin, that it's very prone to happy accidents. So it's kind of a hands-on plugin. So I'm sure you're gonna find loads of fun things to do with it. So I'm gonna say goodbye for now.
Yes, and I will say goodbye as well. And thank you very much for watching and for your interest in GRFX. We hope that you can enjoy it as we do.
And thank you for being here with us. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and have fun. Bye.